One very simple truth that I'm going to share with you today that will change the way you think, it will change the way you act, and I promise you it will lead you to more success. What is that? We're going to cover that in just a second, but I will tell you this. It has been battle tested by yours truly for multiple years. And if there's one thing I could share with you that I think has been so important in my personal life, this is going to be it. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to share that coming right up. Well, hey there, my friends. It's Wes Spencer coming back at you again in 2021. It's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? I mean, 2021 feels a little bit like 2020, but let's be patient and see how the year pulls out for us. I really think it's going to be a big year and much, much better than the previous year. That is for sure. So this time of year, we often talk about New Year's resolutions. I don't know if you had one last year. I like to pick one, if for no other reason than just to watch me spectacularly fail them. My last resolution for 2020 was simply to read more. And I did a pretty good job of that. I really amped up early in the year, and then it just kind of fell apart and fizzled out towards the end of the year. And that's usually how they are for me. I don't even know why I pick New Year's resolutions anymore, because oftentimes, more often than not, I don't fully succeed. I'd give myself a C- on that one. And that got me thinking. I think too often our New Year's resolutions are things we want to do rather than things we should be thinking about. Should we think more about something? Think less of something? See, I believe this. What comes out of our thoughts produces down into our actions. And so if we really want a New Year's resolution, perhaps it should be changing the way we think about something. So today I'm really excited to share with you something that has caused me to think differently over the past few years. I first heard this on an audiobook when I was driving, and it was so impactful to me that I literally had to pull off the road, stop the car, and just think and ponder, because it hit me really, really hard in a good way. And I want to lead into this. Have you ever used this term with someone? Hey, I just don't have time for that. Right? Maybe it's something at work, someone calls you to a meeting. I just don't have time for it. Maybe your spouse or significant other asks you to do something. You just don't have time for it. Maybe something else in your personal life, a friend asks you, do you want to do something? And you say, I just don't have time for it. We often find ourselves saying that pretty often. And if we think about that for a minute, what we're not saying is that we don't have time for it. See, think about it this way. We make time for the things that are important to us in our lives. If I have a major heart problem, let me just say it like that, and I don't, at least not that I know of, but if I did, and all of a sudden I have a day stacked up with meetings, and my cardiologist calls and says, we need you to come in for one more test, what am I going to do? Sorry, I don't have time for that. Of course not. I'm going to drop everything and I'm going to go to that test. Why? Because it's a priority for me. And so what we're really saying when I say I don't have time for whatever it is, what I'm actually saying is simply this: that's not a priority for me. And the first thing I want you to know is that is okay. We only have 24 hours given to us in a day. That is a universal truth that all of us have. We cannot cheat 25 hours in a 24-hour day. It cannot be done. And so because of that, there are only so many things that can be a priority for us. So this is what I want to challenge you with. The next time you say, I don't have time for that, what I really want you to do is stop and in your brain say, that's not a priority for me. And is that okay? If you stop and you think through that and say, you know what, that isn't a priority for me, and that's okay, awesome. Everything is good. But if you say, you know what, that should be a priority for me. Maybe it's something really important in your kid's life. He's got a school play or something like that. And your first thought is, I don't have time for that. Gut check yourself and say, is that a priority for me? Yes, it is. Is that more of a priority than what is in the way currently in the middle of that 24-hour day? If it is, rearrange that schedule. See, my friends, this has been a huge secret of success for me. It doesn't give me more hours in the day. It just causes me to have laser focus in what I'm doing with the hours that are granted to me. There is nothing wrong with working hard. There is nothing wrong with leisure. There is nothing wrong with the activities that we choose to do during our day. Just do them intentionally. Think about it and say, the activities that I am doing right now today, that's my priority because it's what I've chosen to do. And if something else comes up in front of me and conflicts with my schedule, I must choose that which has the highest priority. And I do that every time. I might as well recognize that in my brain, give credence to it, and say, yes, that is my priority. So there you go. One very simple truth that I really think can change and transform your life in 2021. Stop saying I don't have time for that and start saying that's not a priority for me, at least in your brain, right? You don't want to tell somebody that they're lower priority per se, but this is a great way to start thinking through and giving a framework for your brain to think about what is truly important in 2021. The year is going to go by fast, my friends, and so let's make the best of it. I hope this was helpful to you. Any questions, any comments? I read every single one. Just leave a comment down below. I can't wait to hear from you. Thanks.